And good people, welcome to my channel. And today we're talking about an interesting journey that I had to embark on. But before we do that, please click on the subscribe button below there and let us grow this community together. I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a coach, I am an author, but most importantly, I have been called to awaken humanity. Welcome to Malibu TV, a place of transformation and wellness. So I'm so excited. I am so excited. Actually, this year, guys, I am so aligned with the divine inspiration. And there's so many things that I'm launching for people who are on my Facebook. They will know exactly what is actually going on. So, the first thing is that I have launched my a new journal called Creating the Life That You Want, and this journal will also be on will also be available for people who are abroad. I'm still trying to figure out if I should sell it on Amazon or other sites, but it's called Create the Life That You Want. So you will be writing things specifically on this journal, and you know it's going to be an awesome journey. And for the month of Feb, as most of you know that I'm a wellness coach, I'm a fitness trainer. So I have started a journey of helping people lose weight, gain weight, maintain their weight. And this is in the month of Feb, we will be loving our body using nutrition. So God has just spoken to me, firstly to be vegan, and I am a lover of meat, and I'm not intending to be vegan for the rest of my life. I'm just going to be vegan for 28 days. So in Feb, I will be taking on that journey of being vegan. And of course, you don't have to be vegan to join my group if you want to lose weight or gain weight or maintain. We have a whole lot of things that you can use. And what else? Yes, so while I was in that journey, then God said to me, you need to launch a vegan book for people who would love to have vegan meals, maybe once a day or however they want. And I decided, okay, fine, I'm going to learn more. I'm going to learn different sides of vegan, because there are a whole lot of things when it comes to being vegan. And I am launching my ebook in Feb as well. So it's a lot of things. And while I'm there, I am just relaunching myself. You can see my new hair. I've just changed a hairstyle in like 2 weeks. I decided to cut off my hair because the hairstyle was just not giving me any ease. And this year I had already said that I want ease in my life, and that's how I get a download of information on how to enhance my coaching practice and all that. But the hair was not giving me any ease, so I decided, let me cut my hair and let me just surrender this thing, because I don't like combing my hair. I don't like those tongs, every time I have to do those tongs and all that. But anyway, this is not why we are here today. I was just catching up with you on what we are doing. So today let's talk about my journey of sexual abuse. And I know most of you think that you know it, and there are layers and layers. I think in my book I've spoken about the phase one of my whole journey, and as being a victor. I don't want to call myself a victim, a victor of sexual abuse. So just to wrap it up, for people who don't know, I have been sexually abused for 3 consecutive years by a guy who's 12 years older than me, and he's still alive today. And while the sexual abuse was happening, I did not know what it was, because I was still young. I was between the ages of 8 and 11. But I grew up then, and where I was, the environment was conducive for me. Actually, it attracted me to drinking and smoking, which I am still drinking now, but I'm no longer a smoker. I think, how many years now? I think it's 6 years since I quit cigarette. I don't even crave it. There are times when I dream of myself smoking, and I'm like, hell no, girl, you're not gonna do that. But I haven't been smoking any cigarette since then. So while I was still young, at the ages of 14, I started drinking when I was young, and I started smoking when I was young. A lot of people then, by the time it was the early 2000s, where women were not known of smoking, yes, smoking, drinking it was there, but smoking no. So we were called prostitutes, and after a long time I found out that actually being a prostitute is what I did with that guy, but the difference is that you are given money for it. And it broke my heart at the ages of 15. And while I was in that mess of realizing that I'm not a virgin, is it a, yeah, it's virgin. I didn't actually have a say in me wanting to break my virginity. I don't even remember how it happened. So my sexual things had been actually I would say it has been a struggle, because how I was introduced to sex, it was not really nice and all those things. So I then published a book and talked about my journey as a sexual abuse victim, and that I think was phase one. And as I moved on, I realized there's phase two, and now I'm diving into phase three. So phase one was me accepting that all those things happened to me, and I cannot go back to taking back my virginity, because there was a time in my life when I was very, very angry towards the gender. Man, I was very, very angry. And then I had to heal myself, and I went into phase one of acceptance. So that is what you do when you had faced an unfavorable situation in your life. You need to accept that you cannot go back and fetch other things. For people who have lost their parents, for whatever had happened in your life during that those times, please know that you cannot. The first step of healing is to accept. So acceptance means that I cannot go back to the past and fetch whatever was taken away from me. So and then the phase two was me dealing with the trauma that comes with sexual abuse. So there was a time when I couldn't sleep with the light off. Yep, like literally that was like traumatic to me. And this guy who sexually abused me was not a family member, but he was close to my family. So he would when my parents were not there, my brother, I think he was not there as well, my older brother, so he would come, and or maybe my parents would ask him to come and and look after us when they are not there at night, and then he will sneak into my room when the light was off. So I still had that in my psychological being, which is the mental being, and also in my body, because that's where you also store trauma in your body. And I then would put the light on, so that I would, it has been a psychological thing that when I put the light on, I would see whoever comes in the room without having to put on the light and now fighting this type of a person and all those things, right? So that has been the journey. The phase two was me dealing with the trauma, and dealing with being touched, because I didn't like to be touched. I felt like, oh my gosh, when I'm close to somebody and hugging them and all these things, it made me feel so uncomfortable, right? So I then was dealing with those type of things. And during that time, I had my husband who as well would help me. And I actually, the first time when I spoke about this, I told my husband first. By the time, he was my boyfriend. So as I deal with the trauma that is in the mind, I have also been seeking help, obviously, going to energy healing, going to a whole lot of coaching, and trying to get rid of, heal my body, because now the part of forgiving and letting go of this guy had been done, which is phase one. And then there are other things that comes with trauma on its own that you have to deal with psychologically. So now I'm moving to phase three, which is now accepting that, okay, fine, I'm no longer scared. There are parts of me that are letting go of this in my mind because of the practices that I have been using. And meditation, prayer, coaching, energy healing sessions. What else? I've never been to therapy, and I know that other people will be like, yeah, you need to go and see. No, to me, there are deeper level to You know, when something, especially if it's sexual, if you have shared your sexual being with someone, there are other spiritual things that you need to do. That is why I had to go to an energy healing session, so that I can take out his spirit that was in me. As you mostly know, that when you are sleeping with someone, you're not only sharing your fluids, if I can put it like that, but you also sharing your spiritual side with them. And that is why I always talk about mind, body, and spirit, that your body will also be wounded, but your mind and spirit will also be wounded. So phase 3 of my journey is more about a spiritual side, because I had healed the body. This is where now I can allow people to touch me. I have spoken about one of the things that I haven't been doing, which was being compassionate. And also it was boiling from the wounded inner child with another issue, but also this issue had already contributed to being not being compassionate. So I now am diving into the spiritual side of it, and it's showing me that, actually showing me my purpose. Some years ago, I don't know, not years, a few months ago, I made a video, and I was explaining that my purpose, how I found my purpose as a healer. So I know that I can lay hands on the sick and the sick can recover. But then there is more into that. As I'm healing my spiritual being right now in phase 3, I am seeing parts of myself that I never knew, and I don't want to talk about them now, because even myself, I don't think that I do understand them too, too much. So I will rather talk about them after I've went through this journey. But I'm going to just make an example of the physical things, that when I'm healing my spiritual being, the physical things are happening. So but when I was sexually abused, when I thought of it, and known the truth of what was happening to me, I then became a man. Literally, I was fighting this guy by becoming a man. People who know me from way back, they know that I had been a tomboy. Yeah, so now if you see me wearing all this stomach out and high heels, I've never been that person. So as I heal, there are other things again, like doing girls, or what is meant to be a girl's thing, which is chores, cleaning, cooking, and all those things. I've never done that. And when my sisters were doing that, I was heading the kettles. I was, I was out there doing what boys are doing. You know how we grew up. There was separation between what men can do and what women can do. So with me, I was literally doing what men are doing. That is the reason why I am not too much in the kitchen. Like, if you come to my house, I would love for you to cook. My sister, the one I come after, she cooks. Like, when she's here, I will say, please come and cook for me for the whole week. But I'm so grateful now that I have somebody who's helping me in that area. But God has just spoken to me again. When I'm healing this part, another thing is coming. God said, you don't like cooking, plus you don't like food. But in order for you to love this idea of cooking, and not just cooking for yourself, you will be cooking for your family, you'll be cooking for your husband, you'll be cooking for your children. Now start a page where you're going to share your exciting meals. Because when I become, actually when I cook, I want an exciting something. I don't want to cook every day where I cook pap and cabbage and spinach and all this. I want to be cooking things that are going to excite me. And I would look for recipes and all those type of things. So now I am finding out, God is saying to me, and I heard his voice loudly when he said, start a page where you're going to cook. And I am a health freak, I'm a fitness fanatic, I'm all that. On my life, I am eating raw food most of the time. If there's no food, I'll just eat raw food, salads, and my shakes, my Herbalife shakes and all that. I do, however, have solid food. But then God is saying, in order for you now to start loving, this area, you need to also be excited about it. And I'm so excited that right now I'm moving on to phase 3, where I'm going to be allowing myself to love the things without thinking that they are I'm low. Because when I thought of cooking, I thought, no, those things are for weak people, because that guy psychologically made me believe that the things that women are doing are weak. Yes, and then the things that men are doing are strong, so I'll have to do strong things. So I was more my whole life I have been operating from masculine energy, which is action and doing tough things and all these things. But now my feminine side is coming, and it's coming to be like a soft person, to say, I always hear myself telling people that I love you. It has been a very difficult journey for me to tell somebody, even though I know, but just to say I love you, it was a problem. And I know most men, actually, my sister-in-law, from my husband's side, the husband said, if I'm not saying I don't love you, it doesn't mean, if I don't say I don't love you, it doesn't mean that I don't love you. I do love you, but I cannot be saying that every day. So to men being like, saying I love you and being compassionate, it has been deemed like, when you are too much. So I have also been more masculine than feminine in my past few years. But now I am diving, as I'm healing, I'm coming back to myself, to the person that I am. And this is what I am doing. And actually this year it's a whole lot of transitioning to me, because I have been doing the healing a lot last year. So I'm doing this the video so that you as well at home would understand that healing, it's not a one-time thing that you can pray over it. I know that most Christians like myself, we said we are praying over it, but there is where it's sitting in your body. So there was a time when I was doing what do they call it, bioenergetics, yeah, to take out the trauma in my body. And there was a time when I was doing exercises as reprogramming your mind and all those things. So there's a lot that I did, and yes, I prayed, definitely I prayed, but there's also a lot that I did during those times, so that I can come back to self. And as I come back to self, I'm doing these things called, what am I doing? The cooking. I'm going to cook in my own way, not the way that, the traditional way of cooking pap and all those things. I'm not a chef, but I'm going to start my journey of loving to cook, and also showing affection and compassion to the people that I love, especially my husband. So that was my journey. If you are in this journey, give yourself time. I'm sure there is a phase 4. I'm on a phase 3. There is obviously a phase 4 and a phase whatever. But as you accept, the first thing that is important for you, if you have faced something traumatic in your life, or losing somebody that you thought you would spend the rest of your life with, whatever it is that you have been growing through, please get into a point where you're going to accepting that it has happened and I cannot do anything with it. I know I had a client who had an issue with, she went to hospital and she lost her baby's her baby, yes, her baby. And there was a point when she then blamed the nurse, that the nurses were not, and she also blamed herself for going to that hospital and a whole lot of things. But then when we went into the coaching session and, trying to heal this part of her, she realized that she is blaming and not accepting that actually my child is gone, and I would not, even if I can blame the nurse, I can blame myself, the hospital or whatever, it won't come back to life. The child won't come back to life. So as well at home, whatever that you're going through, phase 1, accept. And that is the reason why I have a journal. Also write down, rewrite your life in a journal. What is it that you would love for yourself to happen in your life? What is it that you would love for you to happen from the point where you have lost your marriage, where you have lost your children, you lost your loved one, or whoever it is, or whatever it is that you have lost, what it is that you would want to happen from today until infinity. Because you if you are going to dwell on the lost part, because I myself have lost my virginity without my consent, and I had been so angry the past few years, angry because people were talking about how they lost their virginity, and I didn't even know, okay, how do you do that? I had to lie to people that, yeah, I broke my virginity and it was like this, but in essence I did not remember. But the reason why I lied, it was because I couldn't accept that my virginity was taken by somebody else, for whatever reason that they did. So I'm also asking you to accept, and then also book a coaching session with me or any other coach of out there, and let us do it. I do my coaching online, so you don't have to be in South Africa, you don't have to be in Centurion. You can just have a Zoom, and we're going to do a whole lot of work in you. Or else you can also subscribe for any of my monthly programs. I do have monthly programs that are very intense, like the one of Reset Your Life. And this is what we are doing actually in the Reset Your Life. We are taking layers and layers of conditionings of the things that had happened to us in the past, and we are saying no to it, and we are becoming who God has intended us to be. That's it for me for today. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, share with your friends, and I will see you next time.